Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? I always wait. There's Marina. There's Carolyn. And there's Heidi. I'm so happy to be with you guys tonight. I'm so happy to be with you guys tonight. I am so excited for Elder Council. I'm quaking in my pants. Are you happy too? I'm so glad, Holden, that you checked in, that your surgery went well. He says, I'm going to try to do Elder Council tonight. That's okay. Love you. Thanks for even being here. Grateful that you're here, that you checked in. Been thinking about you today. So, Zoe graduated 5th grade today. Which, you know, I you know I'm real with you. You know what I mean? And this is not to take away from Zoe at all. If you don't make it through 5th grade, there's a real problem. I'm just saying. That I know it's messed up. I'm just saying, if you don't make it through 5th grade, that's more my fault than hers. Do you know what I mean? If you don't make it through 5th grade, your parent wasn't showing up, or somebody didn't drive you to school, or something like that. So Zoe graduated 5th grade today. I am congratulating her, but I'm just saying, if she didn't finish 5th grade, that's more a parenting issue than it is a child issue. No, seriously. I mean, you don't make it through 5th grade, we have to have a parenting conversation. But she did, and she gracefully made her way through it today. It is a little bit crazy to think that I have 2 middle schoolers. I still feel really young. But increasingly, that feeling that I have, that belief that I have in my own youth is getting challenged. You know what's funny is I remember, here's what's weird. Both my kids went to the same elementary school that I did, and I had 5th grade in the same classroom as they both did. And they haven't changed that classroom at all since I was there. And earlier this year, so Randy too, Randy's son just finished 5th grade. So earlier this year, I had met with the principal. This was back August. And I had asked, you know, if I wanted to, I asked to donate to the school to renovate the classrooms, because they haven't been renovated since I went to school there. And again, I'm 46, so I graduated from 5th grade 36 years ago. The windows are the same, the doors are the same, they have no air conditioning units. It's kind of a shambles. So I asked how much I would have to donate to fix up the classrooms for, and I said, I want to wait till my daughter graduates, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, she just fixed them up for her kids. I said, I want to make sure both my kids are gone, and then I want to fix up the classrooms so that it's truly a legacy gift. It's not like I didn't do it for my kids. It would only benefit the generations coming after my kids. And we started to have those conversations. They hadn't had a parent request that before. So we started those conversations about what it would take and how much the paint and the air conditioning and all of that. And then the virus hit. And so all those conversations about, you know, whether I can renovate the school or what that would cost or anything has been put on hold. But I do want to renovate their school, because it's really weird that she was in the same 5th grade classroom I was in 1983, 82. Nothing has changed. So anyway, we'll see. I'm still hoping next year I might be able to afford to be able to do it, and to be able to get the school in some kind of modern order. But yeah, it is kind of cool that both of my kids have graduated 5th grade from the same school that I went to. So, Elder Council. I'd like to do it. I don't even know what it would cost. I mean, it might be crazy expensive, but I was like, can I just install air conditioning and fix the doors and the windows? Like, how much would that cost, right? Yeah, they need IKEA real fast. It's really not a good situation. Okay, so let me talk to you about tonight. Are you ready? Scout needs an extra smudge. I'm here with it. I'll tell you something. If I can do something like that, it feels really, really good. Philanthropy is my favorite part of Sage Goddess, is being able to give back. Because for a long time in my life, I couldn't give anything to anybody, and so to be able to do something special for people in need or for future generations, or it feels like legacy work, you know. So anyway, it's kind of special. I'm so glad you're here. Start to bring your attention to your breath. Start to bring your attention to your heart. I have so much to tell you right now. Let me keep my thoughts organized. First of all, if you're open to it, I have a gift for you, and I have a gift for someone on my team. And I'm telling you this because this is also a reminder to you. If you have jewelry, like I have a piece from Sylvia that she made for me not that long ago, and I'm bringing it into Elder Council tonight to charge it. If you have jewelry that you want to charge up with this energy, infuse with this energy, go and get it. Let me tell you what the energy is, because I haven't told you what we're doing tonight, so let me tell you that first. We are, for the first time ever in the history of Elder Council, and Elder Council turns 9 in the fall. We've been doing Elder Council for almost 9 years. For the first time ever, Elder Council tonight, we are going into the Akashic Records. We're going into the Cosmic Library tonight. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but if my meditation today is any inclination, you're going to be flying tonight. We've never done this before. This is brand new. I let the guides decide where we go, what we do. I haven't done this with you, so this is new territory for us. In a way, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm also really excited. So tonight is about accessing, get your Metatron's cubes, that reminds me, I'm going to grab something else too. Let me grab it really quick, hold on. Any of your really important pieces of sacred geometry, your Metatron's cubes, your platonic solids, even cubes, spheres, octahedrons, anything that has sacred geometric resonance, go grab it. Quartz, if you have any quartz in your collection, go grab it, because you can program it. So here's the thing, even if you have no tools, okay, and sure, Walter, like anybody, Debbie's like, I don't know what to get. Even if you have no tools, but you have a quartz point, okay? Grab your quartz point, because you can program your quartz point tonight to hold the frequency of our journey. And then if you do get another tool, I'm just trying to show you what that would be like. So let's say this is your quartz point and you charge it tonight, okay? Yes, get your scolecite, get any of your, get your Super 7 or your Auralite, get any of your Synergy 12, your Apopholites, your Zeolites are all going to be really activated tonight. But let's say this is a quartz point and that's what you have and that's what you charge tonight. When you get a tool, like a Metatron's cube or whatever else, you can charge the quartz point or the quartz piece to receive the energy from tonight. And when you get your other tool, as soon as you connect them, there'll be the download. So at the very least tonight, you can charge as much as you want. I mean, I guess I feel like I'm charging my whole room tonight, but you can charge as much as you want. But let's say you don't have anything but a quartz point. Charge your quartz point or a piece of tumbled quartz. And then when you get a tool that you want to infuse the energy into, you just take the quartz point, touch it to the tool, it will transfer the data. It's sort of like you just need a USB, okay? And quartz is the best USB because it's so absorbent of energy. So if you have nothing else, of course, if you have Merkabas, if you have cubes, if you have any kind of multi-dimensional pieces, if you have, and I've got, all of my little 3-dimensional Metatron's cubes and all of that here, any of those pieces that you have, as many as you want. But if you don't have anything at all except a quartz point or a tumbled stone, charge that tonight, and when you get a tool that you want to infuse with this energy, you just have to connect it, okay? Libyan Tektite would be great. I mean, you're going to fly a little bit. Moldavite's really good. Any of the ascension tools, right? Anything that's higher dimensional. Trawlite. Trawlite was actually a stone mentioned by my spirit guides in the meditation today. Trawlite. I think the only trawlite we have at Sage Goddess are the pendulums right now, but we've had pyramids, we've had double terms. If you have trawlite, there's something about that stone tonight that's connecting with the work that we're doing and that crystal. So if you have trawlite, please go get trawlite out of your collection. I know, Michelle's like, we're all running around grabbing crystals. How close or far will the charging field go? Try to keep everything close to you. Some of my pieces are across the room. I've kind of set up a grid around the perimeter. I think you'll still infuse those tools with the energy, but the closer the items are to you, I'm going to put this in my bra in just a minute, the better. Magician Stone, charge that up. Lemurian Quartz is going to receive this. Lemurian Quartz already has this vibration, so what's going to happen with your Lemurian Quartz is you're going to access the wisdom. Lemurian Quartz, in my experience, is already encrypted. So if you've got a trawlite ring, which Hillary has, charge your cannabis because your herbs will take this in, especially your teaching herbs like cannabis, or if you're going mugwort or patchouli or any of your teachers, your master teacher herbs will absorb this. The chumpies should be here. Petrified Wood Generator is fantastic. Katie Webb, I love it because it will ground this energy. It'll be like a little transmitter of it for you. Whew. Yeah, so Teresa's like me. She's going to let it be the whole room. I'm going to let it be the whole room, but there's certain pieces I'm bringing closer. And if you want to burn some buchu or some blue lotus, if you want to get a little soft, if you work with cannabis and it's legal where you are, great. You know what I mean? Being a little soft for this is not a bad idea. So mugwort, buchu, cannabis, anything that's legal and available where you are is fine. Boom Shiva, which is do you guys know about Boom Shiva? I don't know if we even have it. Boom Shiva is our incense that we make at Sage Goddess that makes you a little soft. Boom Shiva has a cult following. So if you have your Boom Shiva, get your Boom Shiva going. Get the boom. Is it out of stock? The boom is burning for Elena. Yeah, cacao, Heidi, I love that. I love the idea that you'd work with cacao medicine tonight. Another really powerful plant teacher. Karen's boomed up. Spacey's soft. I like it. Be soft right now. This is we're not doing mathematics tonight, right? I'm not here teaching you statistics. I'm here taking you to a dimension outside of the fifth dimension tonight. So as soft as you want to be, I'm down for that. Okay. Any other questions? Have I answered all your questions? Yeah, your Yule incense. That's right. Candace will work too. Donna's boomed up. Hillary's boomed up. Tina's got mugwort going. You guys are fine. Okay, good. So I have two things I want you to send a little vibration to. The first one is not for you, but it's for someone special. So Brooke is the name of the woman who manages all order fulfillment at Sage Goddess, and she has for a long time. Brooke is a powerhouse. You would love Brooke. I mean, Brooke, I don't even know how lucky we are to have Brooke. I don't know how we got Brooke. Brooke's from another dimension. She is the one in charge of that entire process, and she does it with a level of love and compassion and care that I can't even describe to you. This is a piece from Sylvia that I bought for Brooke, and I've been holding on to. Okay, Brooke gets a medal, but today Brooke gets a Sylvia necklace. She doesn't know yet, so shh. I bought this for her. It's aquamarine with opal and a demantoid garnet. No, this is not Brooke. This is Brooklyn. This is Brooke. And Brooke is just a hero. She's a hero of mine. She'd be a hero of yours if you knew her directly. Elisa knows her because she handled her giveaway. She's a soul sister to all of us here. And if you ever have a good experience with your orders, it's because Brooke was looking out for you. So would you take a moment? I'm going to charge this in ceremony tonight. I'm going to put this in my bra. Would you take a moment and just send a blessing to this piece? Because it's for her. Isn't it beautiful? It's aquamarine with Ethiopian opals and a demantoid garnet. She knows she's getting something tomorrow, but she doesn't know what it is. So in it goes. Thank you. Thank you, Alexis, too, for your dose of it. Yeah. I gotta get it all the way in my bra. There, it's in there. So that's for Brooke. And then this is for one of you. This is a giveaway, and what my spirit guide said is this is a double terminated skeletal celestial smoky citrine point from Brazil. It is naturally double terminated. It's worth $1,000. And I've been holding on to this. I've been holding on to this. So I'm gonna post this tomorrow, a picture of it, after we're done tonight. I'm gonna hold it in ceremony tonight. This is one of the coolest pieces I've ever given to Soul Shift. This is I can't talk when I'm holding it. This is an ancient pathway piece. So I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to take 2 minutes and tell you the story, maybe 1 minute. I was in, listen, so sometimes this happens to me. We were in Denver in September, okay? And one of the people that we buy stones from Brazil came over to me. I was talking to somebody else, and he said, when you have a minute, can you come back over here? I'm going to show you something. And he had a table with a cover over it, and he pulled the cover back, and this was one of the pieces that was sitting there. It's a huge etched triangle on the surface of this. I don't know if you can see. And he said, I don't know anybody else is going to appreciate these pieces like you will. And so I've been saving it for you. Do you want it? And I looked down, and there was this piece, and there was a second piece that I have over here in my crystal room, and a third piece that's still at Sage Goddess. When I said, yeah. And he said, here's the thing, I don't know what to charge you for it. And I said, I don't even know, because I don't know. And he's like, I don't even know. So he gave me a very fair price on them. He didn't give them away to me, but he gave me a very fair price on them. And I committed to him that I would give most of them away. And I have. One of the pieces from this collection went to Bonnie's partner as a gift. So it's the same collection as Kat's piece. I've been very careful with these pieces. This is the last of it. So I don't have any more after this. This is the last piece. This is also the most powerful piece because it's the only double terminated piece in the collection. Because we're going into the Akashic Records tonight, and because I think you're going to be connecting with ancestral wisdom, it felt right to do it tonight. It's been sitting and waiting, and it's like, when is the time, right? So it feels really good not to sell it. And that might sound really weird to you, but when you don't sell something, the energy line attached to it is entirely clear. There's no exchange, so it's free-flowing energy. And whoever gets this, it is such a teaching piece and it's such a journey piece that it needs that clear energy line. And what's really cool is it's heavy. That's why I keep putting it down. It's 3.5 kilograms, which isn't crazy heavy, but it's about 8 pounds. He understood it too, which is why he came to me, and he's like, I mean, he could have sold this to somebody for a lot more money than he sold it to me. So he's like, I'm going to give you a fair price, but I want you to think about maybe, sharing these pieces with people. And so I'm going to put a picture of this in the Soul Shift Facebook group tomorrow, maybe tonight. I'm going to put it with Mary in my garden, and I'm going to leave the picture up until Saturday. Probably the end of the day. My guides are saying Sunday. Sunday. And then I will choose and announce the winner of this piece on Sunday. I'm going to ask you this. And I know there's been all kinds of things about the giveaways, and do people get things twice, and it's not fair and stuff like that. I know that's come up before. Please trust my intuition on this. This piece traveled a long way. This piece has been with me waiting for this moment for October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 9 months. It will find its way to the right person. It's going to be one of you, but it will find its way to the right person. But I absolutely just want to surrender where this goes. And if it's somebody who's already gotten a giveaway, I kind of want to be okay with that. I'm not going to double check and see. When my intuition tells me, I'm going to go along with it. I'm not going to cross check and double check and all of that. Okay? It needs to go where it needs to go, and it's been waiting for a long time to get to you. I'm just a steward of it. I've taken good care of it. It's been in the classroom at SG. It's been here in my home. It's been in my backyard. It's been in my bedroom. It's been on my patio. I took a nap with it. This piece has been all over the place. So if you can just trust my wisdom, I would really appreciate it. And I'm excited, and thank you for being part of the process. Because she's beautiful. Well, and I understand people who, sometimes maybe don't, know how I do my giveaway stuff. But in this case, I really want to say, I know it's going to go to the right home. And I want to have a completely clear and open heart as I do that work. So I'm not second guessing. Do you know what I mean? But that is something else. It's something else. So let's begin coming in a little bit more. I'm going to start talking to you more about the journey. Thank you for sending energy to Brooke's piece, which is in my boobs now. And thank you for sending energy to that piece. Look at that. Yoga Size's little one was screaming too. See, the little ones can feel the energy of a piece like that. I love it. Yeah, some tobacco sounds nice, doesn't it? Would you like a tobacco blessing tonight? Let me go get that. I really love that. Thank you for inspiring me. I wish I could take you back to that moment in Denver when he pulled that tablecloth back. I wish I could take you back there and just looked at me. You know what I mean? He could have sold that piece 10 times over before I got there. They believe in magic too. I'll be right back. Oh, and he is. He's a total grandpa. He is. He has children and grandchildren. I love that man. I love that man. It's not Wilson, no. Although the Venturini brothers are beautiful. If you ever go to the shows and you see Wilson Pedras or Wilson Venturini, those are my peeps too. I love them. Really good humans. Oh, it smells good. Okay. It's good to see you guys. All right. So if you would like a little bit, traditionally when we do tobacco ceremony, I give it to you and I want to blow it into your third eye if you're open to it. So I'm going to take a puff. If you have Mapacho tobacco, which is what this is, which is pure tobacco, don't inhale it. I'm not a smoker, so I'm very careful with my lungs. Don't inhale this. It's literally just to take it in and release it, but it's grandfather medicine, and it's medicine of stability and protection. So if you want, bring your third eye up to your camera, and I'm going to blow into your third eye. I'm going to do it twice in case you miss me, okay? Ready? And then, actually, for the second time, if you have pain anywhere, bring that part of your body that has pain or discomfort up to your camera, and I'll blow into your pain if you're open to it. Sometimes we do third eye in the back of the head, the back of the neck too. So you can turn around and let me blow into the back of your neck, which feels really good. Ready? And we give thanks for grandfather medicine today. In the stories and in the plant. You sure can, Breezy. Pass that on. Okay, since we are in Elder Council space, let me show you the tools. Most of these are out of stock, so I'm sorry if you don't have these tools. You don't have to have them for tonight, but unfortunately I don't have most of them to offer you. I do have Elder Council perfume, I think a few bottles of it left on the website, but not a lot. But I don't have the candles. I don't know that I have the incense. One thing I do want to show you is this is your new incense burner for June, for Soul Shift. And I'm really excited about it. So yours is on its way, but I'm gonna break mine in tonight by lighting the charcoal disc. And what's really cool about this, I'll show you in just a second. We imported these from the Middle East for your kit. What's really cool about it is under this little tray, you can store charcoal discs. Isn't that cool? So you don't have to worry about always having one ready. Like they're sitting right there and they're ready for you underneath the burner. Isn't that cool? It's like built-in storage. Okay, so I've got my disc going. That's my cooktop. And then I'm going to put a little bit of my Elder Council incense. Elder Council incense is really tricky for us to make, and the reason is, and you can put your ashes in there too, that's exactly right. Every bottle of Elder Council incense that we make has a little bit of the original bottle. So in Italy, there is what's called a master dough. Have you heard this story? So in Italy, there is a dough that exists that is hundreds of years old. It's called the Master Dough or the Mother Dough. And there are folks in Italy who keep this tradition alive by every time they make pizza dough, they add in a little bit of this Mother Dough. And they keep the original dough going for centuries and centuries and centuries, because every time a new dough is made and every time they make dough, they add it to the Mother Dough loaf. So it perpetuates this. We do that with Elder Council. It's the only incense that we do that with, where some of the original mother bottle is in every subsequent bottle. And I've been making it for 8 years. So it's kind of cool. If you have any Elder Council incense from Sage Goddess, then you have some of the original blend, because the energy has to keep moving over. So letting that move out and through, and put the lid on that. Isn't that cute? This is a little preview of your incense burner. So Femme Elder perfume is fine. Elder perfume is fine. Tonight it works because, you know, Femme Elder is about the feminine energy. And tonight we're going into the Akashic Records, which is a blend, a hybrid of masculine and feminine. So I'm gonna, my roller isn't working there, so I'll try this one instead. Yeah, oof, that's a strong one. Okay, so a little bit at my wrist for what I do, touch at my third eye for what I know, and a little bit at my ankles for where I go. I'm also gonna put Elder Council on the stone. I'm anointing the faces of this crystal along the triangles. This is what roller balls are for. If you have the new design of bottles, you can take the dropper and trace the symbols. And then what I'm also going to do on this piece is I'm going to trace this month's Angelifaux symbol on both sides. So it has the energy of both of those symbols. And I'll do that on Brooke's piece when we're finished. Woo. And then I'm going to light my Elder Council candle. Which again, if you have, great. If you don't, use a different candle that you already have. If you have a single terminated wand, in service of like using our Angelifaux symbols more frequently and more intentionally, you can actually take your terminated wand, even if it's double terminated, that's fine, and you can draw the symbol around where you're going to be sitting tonight. Right? So if you've been practicing drawing your symbols, let me not pop my sphere out of there, around you. And that will create a circle where you're seated too. Yeah, this is a replica of the wand that was in the gem sale this past week. What I did with mine, it's the exact same wand, but what I did with mine is I where it has a moon, I popped a sphere in there. And if you do that, it will spin. But this is the exact same wand that I had from the gem sale this week. If you recognize it from this last gem sale that we had. And in the little sphere goes. Isn't that fun? Woo. Okay. So, let me, I have a little teaching to do and then we will journey together. So June's symbol, I wonder if, let me show you. This is what June's symbol looks like, right? So it's a loop. Can you see? It's a loop down and around and across, and then up and around and down. Down and around and across and up and around and down. Down and around and across and up and around and down. Does that make sense? So Janine drew it with her pen on paper and then traced it with the quartz. Okay, good. And Alexis has a video for you too. course you do, Alexis. You're the best. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Okay. Thank you for asking. I always ask those questions because we're happy to do it. It's just I'm a shitty drawer, and so sometimes it's like, how do I give that to you? And yeah, you can do it. I mean, just like Reiki symbols, right? Balance. On your wrist, on your clothes. I do it in the morning when I'm getting dressed. Just a little, just a little over there. Just quick, but it's about bringing your system into balance. And if you haven't worked with symbols before, they're really powerful. People don't always understand the meaning of symbolism, but if you think about it, hieroglyphics, Sanskrit, these are symbolic languages. And each one of the characters in Sanskrit and in the hieroglyphs is symbolic on its own as a symbol. It activates an energy stream, right? So that's beautiful. Body jade on her wrists. Right? On your thighs. I like it. In your garden. Look at that. Michaela said, I am in my garden, and as soon as I drew the symbol, a snake crossed it. I like that. Okay. So tonight we're going into the Akashic Records. Let me teach you for a few minutes, and then we'll head into our journey space. Oh, yeah, you're right on time. Yeah, thank you, Karen. We're going to have to figure out flesh tattoos. I want them too. I want all the symbols down my arm, so we'll see if we can actually produce that. Okay, the Akashic Records. What are the Akashic Records? I'm going to talk about the Akashic Records as if you don't know anything. So if you know a lot about them, then I'm not here to insult your intelligence. For my teaching purposes, I like to begin at the beginning. And we do have people who are new. We do have people who are new to spiritual practice. And we do have people who are very experienced and have been here for a long time, but haven't done this work. Maybe they missed the last time we talked about the Akash. Maybe they weren't here for that part. So I start at the beginning, even if you know a lot, because I may talk about it in a way that's different than you've heard before. And I'm hoping there's value in that too. Okay. So thank you for that, Nancy. And hopefully there's, like I said, even if you're an expert, I think there's a place to learn. The Akashic Records, so see that Deborah's like, I'm very aware, and Sarah's like, I'm very new. So you're both here. The Akashic Records are spiritual Google. And I thought I knew what the Akashic Records were until I went into ayahuasca. And I asked to see, because ayahuasca makes you instantly clairvoyant. And I'm not saying that to sell you on ayahuasca, because I think ayahuasca is incredibly difficult and not something you should be sold on. But ayahuasca is visual for me. And so even though I'm not the most clairvoyant person day to day, I see a little bit, but I'm not like, I don't turn around and just see the spirit world. It's like fuzzy. Okay. When I went into ayahuasca and I asked to see the record, it was, that's where I'm taking you tonight. I'm going to narrate for you tonight what ayahuasca showed me when she took me to the Hall of Records. And so everything that I'm going to guide you through tonight is what I have seen in Journey. And that may or may not be exactly what you would see if you were on plant medicine, or if you were having an Akashic reading, or if you were going into the records yourself. But it's the closest I've come to having a visual of what that means. I do not have a mantra for working in the Akash. It's a great question, but I don't have one. So I think what's best for you is to see if they give you a mantra tonight, if you want one. Because what I'm hearing as I'm even saying that to you is none of the mantras are big enough. None of the mantras are big enough. Wow. Even that was overwhelming to me a little bit. Um, I think, I'm very hesitant with the Akashic records because, and I know other people are not. You know what I mean? I know that Abraham Hicks and Bashar, there are other people and energy streams that will tell you can go into the Akash every day, all day, every day. I don't. It's sort of like not going into Elder Council every day, because I don't think you go into the Akash with every question that's on your heart. Again, I'm teaching you I'm teaching you what I know. So if your intuition guides you otherwise, please follow your intuition. I don't go into the Akash with, should I order Mexican food for lunch, or what product should I bring to Sage Goddess, or I go into the Akash with questions like, what's the next book you want me to write? Show me what that oracle deck needs to look like. How do I help this person in my life? How do I support them? Show me how to be a good mom to these 2 children that you've given me. How do I hold space for our community this year in a way that's going to help me illuminate what is needed? So Joy's asking, I thought we were doing Journey. Are we doing Journey today? I thought it was Elder Council. So Elder Council is a journey, but every journey is different. So I'm guessing this is your first time into Elder Council. It is a journey. But every time it's different. We go to a different place, we go to a different vision, but we journey to meet our ancestors and our spirit guides and our ascended masters and light beings and teachers who want to be in communication with us at this time. So I'm really glad she asked that, so I can say that to you. Yeah, you will. Nobody needs plant medicine to have an intense spiritual experience. The only reason I talk about plant medicine is, for me, plant medicine is the ultimate clairvoyant experience. So when I tell you things, or when I take you on journeys, or when I describe things to you, they are actually things that I have seen. So what I'm going to describe to you tonight and take you into this virtual space, I've actually seen it with my eyes open, like it's here in the room. This was not hidden behind a veil for me. I could push through the veil and touch it, and I could move the they're not books. I could move the volumes. I could touch, and I could control, and I could scan between timelines. So what I describe to you tonight is something that I have seen, but you don't have to be experiencing plant medicine to have the experience. I think I have those experiences so that I can describe this to you in a way that brings it visually to life for you, and so that you know this isn't just like a fantasy or something I made up. This is something I've experienced in real time with my eyes open and as lucid as I'm talking to you right now. Yeah, I'm very clairvoyant in plant journey, and I keep my eyes open the whole time. Okay, these are great questions, by the way. And Karen says, I'm keeping paper handy to draw symbols. You should have paper handy. You may not need it, because even with your eyes closed, just draw. Don't open your eyes. But have it there, because if you start seeing symbols, what I will teach you is, don't open your eyes. Just draw. It doesn't matter if it's neat, if anybody can read it, if your words are coming through, if letters are coming through, if symbols are coming through, just draw it. You can look at it later. And I will flip pages. I usually take 30 to 80 pages of notes in an ayahuasca journey with my eyes open, but not looking at the paper. And I just flip the pages. When I'm down to the bottom of the page, I flip, and I'm down to the bottom of the page, and I flip, and I'm down to the bottom of the page, and I flip, and I'm down to the bottom of the page, and I flip. And I read it later. And sometimes it's comprehensible, and sometimes it's not. But it doesn't matter. It's your soul talking. So you'll figure it out. You'll decode it, right? Yeah. No, my shaman would tell you it drives him up the wall because he's just like, can you just be in the moment? And I'm like, I'm totally in the moment. I'm looking right at him, but my hand is going and I flip the page, and my hand is going and I flip the page, and my hand is going and I flip the page. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep talking. You have questions, you let me know. So the Akashic Records are also known as the Book of Life, and it's known as the Record or the Records. Okay. It's Soul Google. The Akashic Records are a record that is kept in another dimension, outside of space and outside of time. And it's a record of every word that's ever been spoken, every emotion that's ever been felt, every action that's ever been taken, every event that has ever unfolded since the beginning until the end and through this moment. What's important for you to know about the Akashic Records, I'm so excited for you, Sylvie. What's important for you to know about the Akashic Records is this, and I'm going to say this slowly so you really take it in. Think about a decision that you made in your life. To marry this person or not marry that person, to take that job and not take this job, to move to that city and not move to the other city. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't think you're going to need it, Bonnie. Can't hurt, but I don't think you're going to need it. So it's your soul's search function. You can search for anything in the Akashic Record because it's every word, every emotion, every feeling you've ever had and ever will have, and that every human being on this planet has ever had, is having now, and ever will have. So you know that saying, you've never had an original feeling? That's what this is about. Because it's the record of everything that has ever happened across time, and it's kept. So every word you've ever said, everything that's ever been said to you, about you, will ever be said to you, about you, that you will ever say, is recorded. So, have you ever made a decision? I've made plenty of big decisions. In the Akashic Records, there's also a record of what would have happened if you made those other choices. So, I was engaged when I met Dave, and I called off my engagement and broke off that relationship. I mean, we had broken off our engagement kind of, but I still had my ring when I met Dave. And I met Dave and I'm like, this is the person I'm going to have children with. Bye. And like completely changed gears and moved in this direction. So in the Akashic Records is still me potentially going down that other road. That's in the Akash. So if you ever broke off a relationship, in the Akash is what would happen if you hadn't. The children you might have had or not had, the places you would have moved or not moved, the choices you would have made, not made. It holds that too. It is every possibility ever to be held in your life across all timelines. It's all the alternative paths, Daphne Weaver. So, I think your original question, whatever it was, is still a good question to hold. I'm telling you this because maybe this opens you to additional questions. What if, right? I didn't see that movie, but it's curious to me that there is a movie about this. Yeah, it's a book with all the storylines. So it's like, okay, so you chose him and then these things happened, but if you hadn't chosen him, then you'd be over here and these things would have happened. You know, you decided to leave that relationship abruptly because you weren't happy, but if you'd stayed, then these 6 things would have unfolded. So you can actually go down those pathways still if you want to. And you'll only be called to do that if it's got wisdom for you. True Hillary, but I'll tell you something, because she said, do we really want to know the alternative endings? I think we ought to be happy where we are. Yes, but for a lot of people that I have coached and worked with over this decade, it has been very healing for them to do this work and to actually go down those pathways and to ask those questions, because they have had unresolved energies in those timelines, and they've tortured themselves. Okay, did I make the right choice? And I think I've shared with you some wisdom that's come through about my compressed timelines, right? The man I was supposed to marry, who I'm still close to and loves Dave, by the way, he loves Dave. His mom lived through Hiroshima. He was Japanese. He is Japanese. And his mom lived through Hiroshima and had radiation poisoning. And so he couldn't have children. And so at some point I said to the universe, I want to have children while I was with him. And that's where my path corrected. I couldn't have had children with him. It wasn't possible. He was sterile. Do you know what I'm saying? So without that, so I could torture myself and say, what would have happened? I don't know. But Dave knows it, I know it, and he knows it. And so it's brought us all to this place. He actually has said before he's grateful to Dave because he believes I was supposed to have children and he couldn't have given them to me. So he's actually really happy that I went through this alternative path. Which is pretty profound when you think about it, right? So think about this in the context of your own life. And do you still have unresolved questions about, did I make the right changes, right? It's very interesting. It's very powerful. Okay. The Akashic records are all the emotions, past, present, future. They're all your decisions played out. They're all your decisions played out. They are encoded, the records are encoded and they're encrypted in a non-physical plane outside of the third and fourth dimensions, including the fifth dimension too. This record exists outside of space and time. So grateful for you guys. It is unconditional love. I mean, what I just told you almost doesn't even make sense, and yet it's true. You know what I mean? It's like that's the universe working, right? It is the realm of unlimited possibilities. It's the realm of unlimited possibilities. What the records show you is likely possibilities, and this is what I want to tell you. So some people have gotten frustrated with the Akash because, and you'll hear the Akashic records, the Akash, the Akasha. Some people get frustrated with the Akash because they'll go in and they'll see something, and then what actually happens is different. And then they'll say, well, the Akash was wrong. The Akash wasn't wrong. The Akash does not account for free will and your decision making. Ultimately, you have choice, right? I love you guys. I see your comments, and I'm really grateful for you. I see you processing. Is it related to Acacia or Akakia? It's an interesting question. I actually don't know the etymology of that page, but now I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. So you have choice. I could have, when Dave came into my life, I could have said, nope, I'm engaged. Or, nope, I'm in this relationship and we're trying to, whatever. I mean, again, we were kind of broken up when I met Dave, but I could have run back to that relationship as a security blanket. Instead, I saw Dave and I was like, no, I knew the minute I met Dave who he was, right? So, but we have choice. I could have run, I could have gotten scared, I could have said, I don't want to do this. I could have subconsciously decided not to have children, you know what I mean? And so I would have made alternative choices, which would have taken me down a different pathway. There's all these different possibilities. I had free will there. I had the ability to make a choice, and I had set an intention to have children, right? So the universe made this pathway pretty clear, but I could have at any point said, no, this isn't what I want to do. So it doesn't account for your choices. It doesn't account for free will. It doesn't account for that. But it does show you all of these collapsing timelines across dimensions. Some people ask, where does the Akash reside? And so I want you to think of it as the astral plane. What's very helpful to consider when you're thinking about all this, especially if you're not a really visual person, which is why I'm sharing this, 12 inches above your head is the distance between your crown chakra and your soul star chakra. And at that 12-inch mark above your head, it's like your halo, that's when you begin to move beyond the human physical realm. Okay, and then you're in the pure energetic realm. And beyond that 12-inch gateway, you start to open up to the angelic dimension. So you start to move into the third, the fourth, the fifth, and there are many levels and planes and dimensions above that. And so the Akash exists beyond, like I said, space and time. And so no matter how hard we try to understand, and I see some of you wanting to turn off your chat so you can focus, because I know this is really dense. And so I invite you to do that. If you want to keep commenting and interacting with each other, you're totally welcome to do that. Or if you want to just kind of start to drop in a little bit, you'll have a deeper journey if you do that. So I want to invite you to that possibility. I'm trying to keep up with your comments and just making sure I see where you are too. I see you, Stephanie Ann. I'm not sure what's going on, by the way, because I wasn't able to see your, I see that you're emotional, but I'm not sure what's happening, but I just want you to know I love you and I see you. I'm trying to stay focused and teach, but also be mindful of the comments. But if you want to check out of the discussion in the feed, it might be good if you want to drop in and just have a deeper experience, just to share that with you, especially for Elder Council, because you can always come back and look at the comments later. So when we leave space and time behind, we lose the capacity to understand what things look like. So when we talk about the Akashic records, okay, it's not like a real library. It's not like where you go to the wall and you pull off a book and all the books are sitting there. It's not like that. This is why I asked ayahuasca to show me what the Akashic records look like. And do you know what she showed me? She took me into a room, and this is where I'm going to take you, but I want to prepare you for it. She took me into a room, and it looked like a wall of quartz. It just looked like I could kind of see through it. It was almost like, have you ever seen a really thick piece of selenite where you can kind of see through it, but not all the way? It's like milky. I don't have anything to show you that looks exactly like it, but that's what she showed me, was like a really thick piece of selenite. And I could kind of see through it. And as I got closer to it, it separated. So there were these blocks of selenite it was quartz, but it looked like selenite. It was only translucent a little bit. And as I came closer to the wall, one of the blocks moved toward me. Okay? So I kind of like optical calcite. Yes, Bonnie, very much like that. And so she showed me the block moved toward me. I pulled the block toward me and I held it in my hands. And on the surface of the block, the only thing I can compare it to for you is like an iPad. It wasn't an iPad, but on the surface of this quartz, it was like I could move into the quartz, like I could dive into it. There was depth. And if I asked a question, all of a sudden like shapes would start coming out of it, and people would start coming out of it, and energies would start coming out of it. It was like I was holding this block of almost like ice. It was about this thick. And so I was holding it, but it was like as soon as I asked a question, it was like things would start to move out of it. And then as soon as I changed my question, all of that energy would go back into the block. Does that make sense? Yeah, it very much felt like an ancient technology. Like if somebody looked at it, they'd be like, that's a block of quartz. That's some primitive thing. But then when I saw what I could do with it, and I could actually I could imprint into it. Like I could shift the frequency of it. It was overwhelming. No, they were all the same Aurea. So it was a full wall of quartz that I approached, but as I got closer and closer and closer to it, Aurea, all of a sudden I saw lines. And then a grid. It was like the closer I got to it, the more gridded it was. And then as I got really close to it, one of the blocks emerged toward me, and it was clear that that was my block. This is where I'm taking you tonight. So tonight in our journey, I'm going to guide you to the same experience, because it's the frame of reference that I have for this particular work, and I hope it resonates with you. I really, really do. And when you take your block tonight, I want you to recognize that you can, was it all mine? I don't know. It had every answer to every question. And I tested it. I was like, well, what about this? And it was like, it's like, oh, okay. All right, well, what about this? And it was like, okay. It was like a living encyclopedia. There wasn't anything I could ask it that it didn't know. And I will tell you something, it was almost like it anticipated my questions. I remember being kind of creeped out because it was like it started to formulate and show me things before I asked a question. It knew what I was going to ask. I mean, it was almost like a rigged experiment. Does this make sense to you? It's like an interactive encyclopedia, but that knows what you're going to ask it. So it's an intelligent encyclopedia. So Sharon Westline asked, how do you feel about looking at someone else's records? I'm glad you asked, because there's two things I want to say in response to that. No looking at anyone else's record. It's the ethics of the work, right? Now, if you have a client and they are giving you permission and they're asking your assistants to go in, like I'm doing with you, that's different. But if I'm just like peekaboo, like want to know what's going on with you, I have no right to access your record. And I do think there is a record that is yours. So there's a code about this, okay? Ori's asking, how do you feel about some people saying you can't drink alcohol for 24 hours before? I'm always careful with anything before journey. You know what I mean? Like, because I think it's important to come to ceremony as clean as you can. So I guess that's kind of a general rule for me. But it's probably good to put it out there for people. I wouldn't come into the record. I wouldn't come into the records without clarity. You know what I mean? Like, because I think that's part of the reverence. Do you know what I mean? There are readers, but they have to have your permission. I've never met a good reader of the Akashic Records who would read you without your permission. I've never encountered anybody who would do that. Not to say that there aren't people who would, but I would be very wary. If you met somebody who's like, oh, I already read your Akashic Record, I would be like, whose permission did you have to do that, right? The collapsed timeline of an ex-partner for closure, only as it impacts you, or if you have that partner's permission. That's the only way, in my experience. Yeah, Carla says she asks for 24 to 48 hours, full permission only, even from my kids. Yeah, I think it's good. Well, thank you. And so if anything comes through for any of you tonight, I will let you know and ask your permission to share it with you. But my intention tonight is actually that I'm going to go into the records for myself too, because I tend to do elder counsel alongside you as a journey myself too. But if any information comes up, it's really nice to know that I have your permission. I would be very cautious in your field. I'm very, very, very hesitant. So I would never for any, I don't know, malevolent reason go into your field. It would only be if I was being pulled to see something about you. And then if I did see something, I would still come to you and ask for your permission to share it with you. So thank you for letting me know that. Okay, and thank you. It really means a lot, actually, because it's a big deal to give somebody permission to access your records. So thank you for that. Thank you for trusting me to do that. So my steps when I do Akashic work, which we're going to do tonight. Where did it go? There we go. It's really true, Stephanie Ann. It does take boundaries, and a lot of times people do not have good boundaries. It is my biggest beef with the metaphysical community is the lack of discussion around boundaries and ethics, because when you're in somebody's field, that's a big deal. And if they didn't ask you to do that, like, it's kind of like, what are you doing, you know? So thank you. Yeah, if anything comes through, if anything ever comes through for you, I will always approach you and ask your permission to share it. And if you say no, I will always respect that. But thank you. And thank you, Stephanie Ann, especially because to your comment earlier, especially because you understand the issue of the ethics and the care. It means a lot to me that you would give me that permission. So thank you. Thanks, you guys. Okay. You can have more than one question, and thank you, Karen Brown, for being a channel for that question from Luna Logan. You can have more than one question, especially what I'm telling you now. It might open up the door for you a little bit. Very grateful for you guys, and thank you, like I said, for your permission. It carries all kinds of karma. I'm so careful. I'm probably, like I said last night to you, I'm probably too careful with most things when it comes to metaphysics, and yet I'm so aware of the karmic repercussions that I walk on a little bit of eggshells spiritually, because I'd rather be too careful and have somebody go, oh, you're too careful, than be careless and have somebody say, I can't believe you overstepped your boundaries, right? Even Alexis gave me permission. How sweet is that? I really appreciate that. Yeah, Kimberly, I love that. Kimberly said, will it be effective to just ask to be shown what I need to see at this time? Do you see my pendulum? Yes. Yes. Aho. Look at that. Carla's changing jobs. You got big changes on the horizon. I love that so much. Okay. You control your choices, your will, and your destiny through your choices. The records reflect the likely outcomes of your decisions, absent any external influences, including you. So if I was to go down that pathway with my ex-fiance, I would see what would have been likely to have happened. Given my energy at the time, given where I was at the time, given my intention at the time, what would have been likely to happen. Doesn't mean it's what would have happened. Does that make sense? Okay, so there's 3 steps for me when I enter the Akashic Records. Number 1 is intention. And I know I'm a broken record, but I also really believe you should never do any magical work without an intention. It is the number 1 thing that people miss. How many spiritual teachers, and I mean this because I do my own check. When I take a class with somebody, if they don't talk about intention or intention setting, I leave the class. Because to me, it's almost like a test. Like if we're going to do ceremony, if we're going to do ritual, if you're going to open me up to a new way of thinking, if you're going to shift my paradigm, I better have an intention for that, right? Otherwise, I'm completely leaving it up to the universe, which is a scary blank slate because the universe doesn't like a vacuum. So the universe will fill it with the intention that it's holding for me, but I want to co-create with that intention. You have to go into the Akashic Records with an intention. So we're going to start there tonight. It's very important, and it should be a little ding 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 in your mind. Just like if they don't talk about intention and they don't talk about clearing energy, it's a ding ding ding. I don't judge people, but it's like, whoo, you don't have an intention, you don't have a container, to Millie's point, and then your work is unsafe. So that's the number 1 thing. The second thing is permission. I always ask, do I have permission to enter the Akashic Records, the Hall of Records, the records of all time, the Book of Life, the Book of Wisdom? Do I have permission? So it says I do. And my intention tonight, by the way, in case you're curious, because I always like to share my intention, and you're welcome to share yours too. You can keep it close to you too. My intention for tonight is to have a little bit of a glimpse into the rest of the year so that I know how to hold space for my family, for my community. I don't have any personal intentions at this time. My only intention, so if you have a pendulum, grab it. So my intention tonight is to understand the next 6 months of life on Earth and to know how to hold the container that I hold, if there's any wisdom or insight they want to give me, so that I can do a good job for my family and my community. Do you see my pendulum? I'm not moving. Would you ever not be granted permission? Yeah. Yeah, you will be denied permission. Ooh, love you, Karen Brown. So Natalie's intention is to know what she needs to do to be a better healer. How to move forward for Jacqueline so that the next 50 years is different than the first. She can't keep doing life like this. Beautiful. Look at that, Renee. I love that. Yeah, Scout says the Akasha said no to her before. Stephanie says, is there a question you can help me form around Aurora? Thank you for asking. I'll tell you what's coming to me is, what does Aurora need from you right now? So much of it is energetic, Stephanie. You don't have to be sitting there holding her to mother her. So where's the energetic, right? So, Melissa, if you're getting a no to go into the Akash, it might be because your intention or your energy isn't aligned. So, ask if there's a different question you should ask or a different intention that you should hold for entering the Akashic records, and then see what it says. Don't be scared, Dawn. It's good. Yeah. You guys okay? I know, Stephanie. I only had to leave Nick in the NICU for a couple of days and I lost it. So I will not be one to judge you. And every time I had to leave that hospital without him, the lioness was not in a happy place. So Marianne, do you have a necklace? If you don't have a pendulum, get a necklace that has a lot of meaning to you and try it. If you have a pendant on a chain, you have a pendulum. But ask it if it can work as a pendulum for you. And then if it says yes, then ask it if you're ready to enter the Akash with your question and your intention. Okay, so this is a database of collapsed timelines. There's no space, there's no time. It's outside of the fourth dimension, it's outside of the fifth dimension. The other thing that I will tell you is, in the Akash, you're more likely to get a... So keep asking if your question is accurate. They're not going to deny you, I'll tell you, in my experience, they're not going to deny you access to the records in general. They will deny you access to the records under specific circumstances. The intention isn't accurate, the question isn't right, and so keep asking. Do I need to ask a different question? Is this the question? Do I need to ask a different question? Is this the question? And then you'll get to the place where you're like, okay. Okay, so intention, permission, am I permitted to enter? And then access. And then you go in. Intention, permission, access. And then once you're in, the code of conduct is don't stay long. We're not going to stay long. Take it seriously. Don't assume anything. Don't read into it. Just receive what's coming. Okay? And always be sure to close the record. That's the number one thing. That will lead them to keep you out of it. If you go into the record and you don't close it and keep your eyes on your own paper. That's right. Don't be like, I think I see my ex-boyfriend's record over there. Can I just, is he still married? Or whatever. Like, nope. Nope. Not doing that tonight. So I'm going to burn some Blue Lotus Palo Santo before we start. This is my favorite of our infused Palo Santo. Not to tempt you, but it's really good. And I just want you to begin to close your eyes, connect with your breath, connect with your heartbeat. All you do to close the record is visualize the record closing. You put your book back into the shelf. But some people don't. Some people don't. And you'll notice when we do Elder Council that I smudge a couple times, 2-3 times. I burn incense. I open the circle twice, usually instead of once. Just extra layers because we're going in. We're going to go somewhere for a little while. You ready? I'm so ready. To the guides and the guardians. Whoo, they want me to drum while I call them in. Let me get my drum. If you don't put it back on the shelf, you might not be invited again. That's all I know. To the guides and the guardians of the East. Welcoming in the guides and the guardians of the East, air energy, the breath of life. Opening up new pathways, new timelines, new awareness, so that we understand where we come from, how vast our spirits are. We thank the guides and the guardians of the East for being present tonight. To the guides of the South, Fire Gateway, keeping us safe, keeping us warm, helping us to change and grow in alignment with our path and our purpose. Thanking the guides and the guardians of the South for being here tonight. Burning through old timelines, old paradigms, old modalities, old ways of thinking, old mindsets. Guides and the guardians of the West, flow energy, water energy, compassion and mothering, grandmothering, caretaking, looking after energy in the West. It's also vision, visibility, knowing what's coming, being able to see it if you're brave. We give thanks, we welcome the guides and the guardians of the West to be with us. To the north, welcome in the guides and the guardians of the north, the northern space, the plains, waterways, iceways, great expanse, arms stretching above us, father energy, grandfather energy. Taking our time in the north, not rushing, knowing we are where we're supposed to be. We're not fast forwarding. We're not trying to skip a chapter. We're here for this. And while we're here on the horizontal plane, we invite the guides and the guardians of the vertical planes, the guides and the guardians of the upper world, the middle world, the lower world. There's the sky above, the earth below. We activate all timelines. We release dimensional boundaries. We open ourselves to a new cosmic awareness tonight. And elders in our council, spirit guides, ascended masters, master teachers, light beings, devic spirits from all quadrants. Be with us, walk with us, guide us toward the record tonight. We know you've inspired this journey. The time is now. We are here, we are here, we are here, we are ready. Guide our hands, guide our vision, guide our questions, guide our thinking, guide our preparation, guide our tools, guide our breath. We ask you to slow the central nervous system, soften the breath, calm the heartbeat. Keep those automatic autonomic functions working so we can leave the body and experience the spirit. We give thanks to all energies present at this time to support us in this way, in this process. Stay where you are. I want you to bring your attention to a moment recently where you've been confused, unsure, insecure, afraid maybe. just not knowing, frustrated. Time when you felt very mortal, where you've looked up and with some frustration just said, God, are you here? Do I have spirit guides? Thought I was doing the work. How am I here? Where you felt like the universe was taking you back to kindergarten. Go back into that moment, the most recent one you can remember, where your heart was unsettled. And I want you to remember where you were when that happened. Where were you sitting? What were you doing? Who were you talking to? Maybe you were in front of your computer. Try to inhabit that moment again. Those moments are bridges. One day you'll understand. You'll see it. Those are your teaching moments. That's when we remember to ask for help. That's when all the teachers around you in the spirit world are like, oh, she remembers, great. And I want you to imagine in one of those moments that you've had. I've had one recently. And all of a sudden you lift your gaze and you look up in front of you, and the wall of the room that you're in slips away. You just watch it. It's gone. And that wall is replaced. That wall is replaced with what looks like a block of ice. You can almost see through it. It's like a window. You can't look away from it. There's so much energy there. You almost forget what you were confused about. What was I thinking about? Something compels you to get up and move toward that block of ice. You realize it's not ice. It's a wall. It's a wall of energy. It's a wall of quartz that's magnifying that energy. It's creating a platform for you to see it, to bring it into vibrational awareness, material reality. Do you already feel farther away from your problem? In an instant, it's like, who even cares about that thing, right? It starts getting really small when you face this wall of energy. As you approach this wall, you start to see a grid laid out upon it. It might look like a flower of life. It might look like lines, horizontal lines, vertical lines. As you approach, you feel instinctively you want to put your hand out. You want to touch it. It looks like ice. It looks like quartz. It looks like a window to another world. And as you look through, it's like your childlike faith and your fearlessness appears for you. All of a sudden you know, it's like you're being guided toward an answer. All that insecurity, all that fear, all that anxiety, it's like, it's gone. All your power returns to you. All of a sudden your soul's wisdom is reintegrated into you, into your body, into your mind. And even though just a minute closer to this wall, you notice that one of those grid lines is moving. And that wall is moving. And one block of that wall is coming towards you. It's reaching out to you. It's like that brick of ice or quartz is being pushed out from the other side to meet your hands. It wants to show you. It's almost like a hand that reaches out to you from another dimension. It's telling you it'll be okay. I have so much to show you. Where you are and what you're worried about. Small in comparison to this universe and the wisdom that's here. And so you start to see one of those bricks of quartz or ice moving towards you, becoming three-dimensional. And your hand just intuitively reaches out to touch it. And as you do, you find that that brick of quartz is coming towards you and it wants to be in your hand. And so feel as that quartz finds its way into your hand. It's like it's melding with your energy field. So as you feel that block of quartz within your hands, within your grasp, now you feel 100 years away from that problem, that challenge, what was confusing you. All of a sudden you're like, wow, was I really focused on that? Here's your jumping timelines. The things that bother you and hurt you and scare you in this life are bound to this dimension. Your soul is so big and so wide and so old. This is a place where you start to merge with your higher self. It can remind you. Your higher self understands. Compassionately looks at you and gazes at you and loves you. But sometimes also has to remind you this dimension is not the only dimension. You're very small. Most of the things that trouble us as humans will trouble us for a week, a year. Sometimes the pain lasts for a few years. But in this dimension, we're talking about millennia, thousands of years of your soul's evolution. And it's good to fly here for a minute because this teaches you critical distance. When you're going through a challenge, you learn to rise above. You learn that your soul has a place it can go, put things in perspective. The people you miss in this lifetime, they're with you there. You can't miss them there. They're with you. Things you're worried about in this life, they don't travel with you there. And that's where peace comes from, because your soul knows this. Your soul's constantly trying to remind you. You're so time and space bound, you can't see, you've forgotten. So here where we are in this other dimension, outside of space, time, you're not missing anybody. Your questions are answered. Your path is clear. There is no fear. There's no hesitation. There's no anxiety. You wouldn't even know how to feel it here, because that's all time bound. to take a moment to feel in your body what it feels like to completely release fear, loneliness, anxiety, loss, grief. Imagine that everything that you are longing for is with you now. Just so you know what that feels like. So as you pull that beautiful brick of quartz out of that wall and you hold on to it with your hands, your left hand on the right, on the left side of it, your right hand on the right side of it, and you're looking at the face of it. I want you to gaze down at that brick. And if you still remember your questions, it's okay if you forgot your questions, by the way. That's the trick of the Akashic Records. You might get a whole new question now. Maybe you're like, if it's all integrated, that question doesn't make sense anymore. Ask a different question. What is your question tonight? I want you to gaze down at that block of quartz. Ask your question. If you have multiple questions, ask your first question that comes to your heart or your mind. How do I? Where do I? With whom do I? Try to avoid the yes and no questions. How do I? Where do I? What do I? With whom do I? Gaze down into that beautiful block of quartz, and if it hasn't already started, it might begin to come to life for you. It might start to ask you the questions. How do you? Where do you? With whom do you? Why do you? The Akash can dialogue with you. And watch for symbols, watch for shapes, watch for sounds. Smells, tastes, it's all information, it's all data. Might be coming forward. Don't discount anything, don't overlook it. Start to become aware now through the records of all the allies that you have seen and unseen. And as you ask your question, consider asking what kind of guidance you need, what kind of support you need. Who can help you on this path, on this journey that you're taking? In the Akashic Records, you can ask about timelines, when. You can ask about location, where. You can ask about partnership, with whom. You can ask about purpose, why. If you want to linger with your first question, you can, or if you want to ask your second question, you can layer them on top, because they'll show you synchronicity. You may not realize your questions are connected. which lifetimes before this one are informing this moment. Spirit guides, elders of the council, we ask that you circle around us at this time, this place, as we gaze into the record, all records, past, present, future, all time, all space, all dimensional awareness. And Spirit guides, if you have a message for us, ancestors, elders in our circle, if there's wisdom, messages for us, we ask that you convey them to us now. Bring those messages with clarity, with love, with assurance, with strength. Where do you need to shift, expand, change? And where do you need to release fear? Where are you being too cautious? Maybe it's based on past life experiences. Where are you ready to grow up? Become the caretaker, become the adult, the one who's looking after. Where do you need greater responsibility and accountability in your life? And where are you flying? Where are you soaring? Where are you beating the odds? Where are you excelling? Take a moment to receive the praise from the records. Feel the gratitude of the elders for the work that you're doing in the world. Take this moment as we dive deeper into the space to ask for visions, for symbols, for clarity, for direction. I'm going to go quiet for a minute so you can listen and really hear. minutes to ask any additional questions that you have, areas that are unclear in your life. Ask for strength if you need it, direction, guidance. This is a beautiful place to give the guides permission to come closer, to be more vocal. If you have a psychic gift you want to grow or enhance or develop, invite them in. Help them to know where you want to grow. You want to see, you want to hear, you want to feel, you want to understand, you want to integrate, you want to embody. You want to transmit, you want to transmute. You want to allow, you want to surrender, you want to become. Share, you want to teach, you want to grow, you want to heal. Make a good space in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit to receive this wisdom. Imagine it pouring into your energy field. Imagine it going into every cell in your body. Integrate this awareness now, what you've received. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, just make a space for it. Spirit guides open us to this awareness, this wisdom. Help us to integrate it in this moment. Make a space for it in our minds, our bodies, our hearts, so that when we're ready, we can activate this awareness. We're thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Imagine this wisdom coming into your heart, into your mind, into your spirit. I want you to imagine looking back down at the surface of this beautiful block of quartz. It's been really alive with wisdom and magic and insight for you tonight. Feeling like you touched the tip of the iceberg, right? But the Akasha is always there. You're not ready to receive it all. So, let's give thanks for the wisdom and information that's come through tonight. To the wisdom keepers, angels, archangels, ascended masters, elders of the council, spirit guides, light beings of all dimensions. Thank you for the invitation to come here tonight. Thank you for teaching us something of value, showing us something that maybe we knew, but we didn't know it in this form. Maybe they give you a symbol or a metaphor to to make it clearer to you. Maybe it was an insight. A little key to unlock a little door that turns out it's a big door. A little awareness about yourself or your process or your people, your position. We thank you, Wisdom Keepers. We give you back this record, this holy, sacred record tonight, to return to the hall of all wisdom, all time. And it's hard to leave, even for me. But I want you to visualize that block going back into that wall and sealing up. That's how we put the record back. Seal the record. Returning it to its original place and location, all wisdom intact. With that gesture, we close the record. Begin to come back to present time. Do you remember where you were? That problem, that issue, that thing that was concerning you. Go back to that for a minute. Remember? Different perspective now. That little bit of a different perspective is the shift. Where you're like, looking at it a little bit differently now. Learn something about myself that helps me understand why or where or who or when. So come back into that living room or that bedroom or that kitchen or that wherever you were when you were embodying that confusion. Right back to where you were seated. And all of a sudden the wall that turned into ice. A wall again. We close the veil. But you'll never look at that wall again the same way. That's what would happen if you could see. That's why one day when you take your last breath, and I say this as someone who had a near-death experience, there's a moment in that transitional space where you have a conscious awareness of, I can't believe I was worried about that. I can't believe I spent so much time thinking about that. It's so far away. It's so small. It's so insignificant. If you can have that awareness now, it'll help you put things in perspective. Woo! Quite a few got knocked out, it sounds like, which is really awesome. Heidi got knocked out. Michelle got knocked out. Woo! It's a lot of energy, Tara. It's a lot of energy. Gansita Lever got knocked out. That's really interesting. I'm reading your comments. You saw galaxies. Interesting. Shapes, words. Dawn O'Connor says, I'm going to give people happiness through my art. See? Sherry was out. Karen was out. Bye-bye. That's good. Lisa felt like she was spinning. Jennifer took notes, and she's going to look at it later, which is super fun. It's like decoding a mystery. I'm super excited to see what she wrote down. Jacqueline said she was holding that celestial. Be who you were born to be. Mm-hmm. No, you're good, Christine. She's like, I put the book back so many times that I'm afraid now I didn't put it back. That's okay. Yeah, I think you did. And it's okay to feel weepy. Remember that our bodies release energy by crying, by sweating, by farting, by burping, and by yawning, mostly. And then in addition to like heat and cold out of your hands, your feet, and the top of your head. So tears are normal. Almost feeling like you have allergies after is normal. Feeling tingly, feeling dizzy. Headaches are a sign that you went too fast through the sushumna out of your body. So usually having a little bite to eat and going outside will actually take that headache away, because that's just it was too fast through your crown chakra. Or to get rid of the headache too, almandine garnet or agate or onyx, put it right under your butt and sit on it, will help a lot too. It'll bring you back into present time. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Yeah, and the opposite, like I had a headache and it's gone. So it can go either way. If you go too fast through that central channel, because I had a little bit of tightness in the back of my neck and it moved through. So you can get a little bit of a headache if you went too fast, and if you call the energy in and direct it, you can actually fix a headache too. I like being floaty too. Angel's like, I don't want to ground. I just like this floaty. The one thing that came up for me for the collective, and I'll continue to sit with this and kind of marinate on it, because I think there's more to it. This is just my very initial, what I received, is a sense of you need to know who you are. Things of this world will challenge you less, will rock you less, will move you off center less when you know who you are. You get thrown off center or thrown off course when you forget who you are. And did you get that too? Isn't that interesting? Like, who are you? And you're not this little small person living a small life. Like, that's not who you are. You're a big, big, big soul. And I'll tell you, not all souls are created equal. I think there are people who come here to really shift paradigms. And then we get here and we have these human experiences that make us play small. And that's not why you're here. So then the discrepancy between how big you are and how small you're playing creates tension. And then you start going, well, am I the small person or the big person? If I'm the big person, then I should be doing X, Y, and Z, and I should be thinking about X, Y, and Z. But if I'm this little tiny person, then I should be worried about A, B, and C, right? There's a lot of you here tonight who are playing small, but you came big. And the only cure for that is every time you get into that little corner, do you know what I mean? They're showing me a pool table. I don't play pool. So this is not my thing. But they're showing me a pool table, and they're showing me, like, the pockets on a pool table. And it's almost like you're like this big, big ball of light, and you're trying to make yourself really small so you can fit in this little pocket. And it's like, that's not going to work. But you're trying. So you're like, you're literally like trying to get really small so you can fit into this little shitty pocket, when that's not why you're here. Now, sometimes getting small, isn't that interesting? Sometimes getting small feels safe. If you're small, people can't hurt you, right? If you're small, you can't offend anyone. If you're small, then you're not needy. If you're small, then you can be independent. If you're small, but then you're going to end up in a position where you're not doing the work of this lifetime. And then you're going to end up in a spiritual bind. Like, okay, so I'm small and I'm safe and I'm not offending anybody and I'm not taking up too much space and I'm not asking for too much and I'm not too dependent and blah, 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 but I'm not happy. Okay. Right? I see you, Christine Bell. So what are you going to do about it? Yeah. You have to go bigger. I mean, and Bonnie, honestly, that you put it so beautifully. Bonnie said, I hide in plain sight. Yet not anymore. Something in you is shrinking when it needs to be expanding. And I'll tell you something. That's when body pain comes. That's when insomnia comes. That's when anxiety comes, right? Because we're trying to do this when we're supposed to be doing this. And so it's about continuing to open. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I was getting during the whole journey for me. I'm reading your comments too. Society, as soon as they see somebody, trying to do this, they immediately like try and clamp it down. It's like, no, you got to be small, you got to get in your box, so you will have to face other obstacles if you try and get big. But the alternative is you're not doing your work. And I don't know what that looks like for you, but I do want you to know that I'll meet you there. Because this is the work that all of us are facing, Like, you're not here to fit into the pocket of the foosball table or I remember that, Holden, when I told you to take up space. I very much remember that, telling you and looking into this camera and telling you, you got to take up space. I love you guys too. So I'll meet you there. I don't know. I don't have the right answer. I mean, I find that I start to allow myself to expand and then I contract. And then I start to allow myself to expand and I contract. And I start to and it's like, it's exhausting. You know what I mean? It's like it's like a rubber band where you just keep pulling it and contracting it and pulling it and contracting it. Yeah, right, Kimberly? Wizard pretending to be a muggle. So, commitments. When I come out of the Akashic Records and I have some awareness, I like to make commitments. Only if you're comfortable. I didn't see into anybody's specific records tonight. I feel like I saw the collective record, for what that's worth. And in the collective record was this like shrinking violet energy that isn't in service to your soul's gifts or your highest good. So commitments. If you're willing, I would love to see you write down tonight just a couple of lines, based on what I saw in the Akashic Records on June 11th, 2020. I commit to, and can even hashtag it in the group if you want to share it, what your commitments are. Because I think it's really important. It's really funny because one of the things that came through for me is I need to understand that my energy isn't for everyone. I have these experiences sometimes, maybe you'll understand this, when I'm around muggles who like don't really do spiritual work and like don't know who I am or don't follow, like nothing in my life is interesting to them or relevant to them or anything. But I'll like I want to spend time with them or be included or be, like moms, you know what I mean? School moms and stuff. And what I keep getting, and it was such a reminder in the journey too, of like, my energy isn't for everybody. Like I'm not for everyone. And that's okay. Right? Like, it's not, I'm not one of those people who like is accepted everywhere in every circle and everybody, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes I'm not too much. I don't want to say that. It's not, I don't want to judge myself, but I'm not, not everyone can bring me into their circle easily. Do you know what I mean? But literally today at Zoe's graduation, I was just like, am I really that different? And then literally in the journey just now, it was like, you kind of are. It's like, and that's okay. Slide on up, baby. But it literally was like in the journey for me, it was like, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, and maybe you're not too. And so I think that's the part of this work where it's like, I can be in things without being of things. I can be in this world without being of it. I can be in a group of, very normal moms and not be of that group, right? I can be a really weird, oddly distanced member of that group. But it's okay. And I think if we can learn this early enough on, there's a lot of us who in this group, I know, and, just from having held the space for so long, that know we're kind of like, and again, I don't like saying like we're outsiders or anything like that, because I don't like anything with a negative connotation. I actually think it's a positive thing. But I think there might be a gift in that awareness, Stay weird. That's right, Melissa. So, what do you commit to based on what you saw or experienced in the Akashic records tonight? What can you commit to? So I'm going to commit to honoring the ways in which I'm different from others. Instead of resisting it or questioning it or wishing that wasn't the case or trying to, again, like squeeze myself into the pool table so I can fit in, you know what I mean? I'm going to honor those ways in which I don't fit, because those might be exactly the ways that I do fit somewhere else. Does that make sense? So that's my commitment, and I'm committing to you right now to live that, which is not the easiest thing for me, but I'm going to commit to living that over the next quarter, because we do these elder councils every 3 months. So from now until I see you again, I'm going to commit to being okay with not fitting into the pockets of their pool table or anybody's, So Holden is committing to taking up more space. Aho, brother, it took you a little while, but we're there. To be what I was chosen to be in this world at this time. Tracy's committing to facing and contemplating death, which is the other side of the coin, right? Natalie says, I commit to being as honest as I can and helping others to be honest as well. I love that. Candace said, I commit to trusting and to stop questioning. And Heidi's nodding. Chrissy says, I commit to going beyond the ordinary to become legendary, to shine brighter with my light for healing of myself and all who wish it. Mm-hmm. Bonnie says, I commit to living my path more fully. If we were here, by the way, like if you were sitting here in my crystal room with me right now, I would have us all hold hands and actually make eye contact with each other as we go around the circle and say that commitment. So I'm trying to recreate that moment here a little bit. Coral's committing to illumination, which is really beautiful. I agree, Goose Mama. Who wants to be in a pool table anyway? You're never going to look at a pool table the same way. Casey says, I commit to taking care of my needs first and not staying small while letting myself take the fall. Mm-hmm. Colleen, taking daily action to create a new career that will inspire me. Keep in mind that even a career that inspires you will drive you insane. The one thing I wish somebody had told me is, because I love Sage Goddess so much, but the work I do is crazy making sometimes. So just remember, even when you're doing something that really is your heart, soul, spirit, why you're here on the planet, it will still drive you nuts. Sometimes. Tina said, I commit to taking it on now. I like it. Krista said, step out of fear and start a new chapter with my hubby. I love that. Vicky Lynn saw a coin. That's interesting. It's duality, right? When you see coins, if you're clairvoyant, when you see a coin, it's usually showing you like two sides of something, two sides of a situation, two sides of an energy stream. Daphne says, I commit to softening my edge to be more accepting and letting go. I like that one too a lot. Embrace your uniqueness from Denise. Love that. What's the meaning of an 8-pointed star? Prosperity. The 8-pointed star is Ishtar's star. That's why I have 8-pointed stars on my carpet. Do you see my carpet? It has 8-pointed stars. Prosperity and magic. To trust, to love and believe for Dr. Chris. To stop hiding for Jerry. Isn't that beautiful? Breezy commits to being. Debbie says, I would have to commit to your commitment, Athena. I'm always saying something to someone, then I say, you probably think that's weird. Yeah, so I commit to not saying that I'm weird too. I'll commit to that with you. Sherry saw a leopard. Leopards are very powerful and sometimes underestimated. So oftentimes when we see leopard in a journey space, it's about us recognizing our own power. It's a powerful totem. MJ said, I commit to healing my body, mind, and spirit. Colleen said, I'd rather be insane and fulfilled than insane and despondent. Right? Angel saw diamond shaped. Diamond shapes, what are those? Diamond shapes sometimes, Angel, are octahedrons and can actually be part of the Merkaba. So sometimes when you see a diamond shape in meditation, it's actually, especially if it's moving, can be just a symbol of energy moving in your field. Janine says, I commit to knowing it will be okay. Beautiful. The feed keeps jumping on me, so. Ricky Lynn, I saw a star with wings. That's beautiful. I agree with you, Natalie. They're really beautiful. What if you physically find coins? It's really interesting because my mom's sister died when she was 39. I think I've told you this story. So it's a very sad story, but she died in 1980s. She's been gone a long time. And they were very close in age, in bond, and everything. And so before my aunt died, because she knew she was dying, she and my mom made an agreement about how they would communicate. And my aunt said, I'll leave you pennies. And I was 6 when my aunt died. 7. Almost 7. She died in June and my birthday was in August. I was almost 7. And I so remember being 7, 8, 9, 10, even 11, 12 years old. And we would wake up in the morning and she said, I'll leave them for you, one face up and one face down. And we would wake up in the morning in the house where I grew up. And all along the wall, my mom would come to me and say, Athena, wake up, come here, you gotta see this. And they would be face up, face down, face up, face down, all these pennies along the wall. I mean, nobody was doing that, you know what I mean? Pretty remarkable. So it's usually spirit communication. Ooh, archways or doorways, Janine? You know, doorways between dimensions. So sometimes it's just a symbol that you're moving through. It's a great question from Christine Bell. She said, I didn't see anything during the meditation. Did I do something wrong? No. It's the number one thing I'm going to tell you about Elder Council, and I want you to remember it for next time. And then if anybody ever asks you, please remind them in case I don't see it, or, you know, because it's one of the most important questions. I'm really glad you asked it. A lot of spirits, especially in the dimensions above 5, above the 5th dimension, have no form. They don't have bodies. And sometimes when you see them, they're like half animal, half human, or they're all animal, or you'll just see like a cape, but there's nothing inside of it. Or spirits don't look like humans, and so a lot of times we'll feel something, like we can feel an energy, we can hear something, but there's no one saying it. And that's because spirits are vibrating at a much higher frequency. The only reason you can see me and I can see you as human beings is that our frequency is low. Our spirits vibrate so high that we can't take on a physical container. So in order to become human, we have to lower our frequency and our vibration. Same thing with this drum. You can only see it because the vibration is low enough. If the vibration was high enough, you wouldn't be able to see it. You can't see the sound it makes because the vibration is too high. So seeing is not the goal. Sensing, feeling, connecting, getting tingly, you know what I mean? Like that's how you know something's happening. But seeing something, very few people see, unless they're clairvoyant. And I'm really glad that you asked. Yeah, like Hillary sees cloaked beings. Sometimes they'll show you like a thing to show you that there's an energy there, but then like I've had journeys where like the cloak comes back and there's nothing because they don't have a physical form. It's like Marianne hears, right? Yeah, but that's very common to not see anything. You're not in this dimension. And if you think about it, what does the void look like? What does the galaxy look like? Right? It's empty. And so in that empty space is where you start to connect with different energies and different frequencies, but not seeing is very common. Yeah, and the falling asleep thing is another sign that you had a great journey, because they knock you out to stop you from doing this. Because some people, when they're journeying, and when I do breath work, I will fall asleep. Half the time I do breath work, I'm out. And you'll have to wake me up at the end because they just completely knocked me out, and I'm okay with it. Sometimes I have to fight to stay awake during ayahuasca, but I'm like, I don't want to miss a second of it because it's so visual, so I fight to stay awake during it. But I'm yawning the whole time, and half the time I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep any second. But people fall asleep so that spirit can get directly to your consciousness. So it knocks out the monkey mind that goes, I'm itchy, my back is itching, I'm not comfortable. Did I turn the oven on? I don't think I shut the oven off. I shouldn't be doing this right now. I don't know if the timing's right. I just got my period. I'm not really sure. I have work tomorrow. Was I supposed to be at that meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. or at 10 a.m.? And spirit's just like, shut up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that ever happen to you where you're like, I left the oven on. Crap, I can't journey right now. And spirit's like, shut up. I'm not in the mood right now. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Well, the kids are going to be home tomorrow. So if I do it tomorrow, there's going to be noise. Well, if I do it after 12 p.m., then it might be quiet long enough. But I'm not going to have 2 hours to do that. I'm only going to have 1 hour to do that. Denitza said she saw a man with the head of an eagle. The Sphinx, Thoth from the Egyptian tradition. Even Ishtar. Ishtar has bird feet, right? Ishtar is half woman, half bird. We weren't always fully human. We were hybrid until we weren't hybrid anymore. So that's an old spirit, right? Mm-hmm. No, literally, spirit will be like, and shut up. Bye. Is it against Akashic rules to share your experience? Not in my experience. The only rule, there's 2 rules that I have found in Akashic work where you have repercussions. Only 2, in my experience. One is looking at somebody else's record without their permission. You just don't do it. And the other one is not closing the damn record. I don't know why those are the rules, but that's what I've been told. Getting up in other people's business and then not closing the record, which shows respect, right? Like, I put the record back, the wall was there, then the wall disappeared, the record is closed, right? When you see blue light swirling around, that's spirit. Go for it, Holden. I'm here for it. I'm here for your. So, why don't we use hashtag Elder Council? Is that okay? And if you want to share your experience, give feedback on your experience, just process. I think that would be great for you to do, especially if I always invite that kind of reflection after journey. And maybe while you process, if you choose to process, not everybody's an external processor, so you might want to keep this all to yourself. It's okay too. But maybe share your commitment. If you didn't share it here, or if you're still processing your commitment, maybe you'll take tonight, or take a few minutes, or take an hour, or come back tomorrow and say, I came to my commitment. I think I know what it is. Look at that. Yeah, the Futhark runes are powerful. So Meryl's being called to work with the runes. Dr. Chris saw her mom, or was asked to see her mom that passed away. That sounds beautiful. Denise saw swirls, eyes swirling. Interesting. Yeah. And take your time to process, right? Yeah, don't share your equipment. Thank you, Britta. I'm not looking for your equipment, just your commitment. I don't want to ask for trouble. Woo! Okay. Yeah, I want to know where Tina Torres went. Keep in mind, what I shared with you tonight was the Akash for me. The Akash for you might actually look different. They may have taken you to another, wisdom chamber. I've had clients who have, like, a long time ago when I used to do Akashic readings, I had a client tell me that instead of where I took her, which was slightly different then because I hadn't done ayahuasca when I was doing client readings, Akashic readings back in the day. Hadn't done ayahuasca yet. But she said that she was taken to the tree of life and wisdom in the Garden of Eden, and that's where she was shown the Akash, right? Interesting. Are there bells in the background, like of here? They're little, like, it's called a Moroccan wedding blanket, and it's these little, like, silver discs, but they don't jingle. I wish they did, but they don't. Oh, no, sorry. The sound, you mean. My son is hitting baseballs in the backyard. Nick is hitting baseballs with Dave in the backyard. They do it every day from 6 to 7 p.m., and that is Nick's exercise. It's really true. And he hits every damn ball. He's really good. We're also trying to keep him practicing because my son was in the Little League Championships and is a superstar pitcher and a really gifted baseball player, and there's been no baseball since March. So we want to make sure because he's so passionate about it, we want to make sure he practices. And Dave is such a good dad. He takes him out there every night, and they just pitch and hit, pitch and hit, pitch and hit. So that's the tink, tink, tink. He is good. Thank you. I'll tell him you told him that. Oh, you said that. Anyway, I want to release our guides and guardians from our circle. Did you guys have a good time tonight? I hope so. I really do. I enjoyed it. It's funny. It's not what I expected to receive, but I've learned not to have any expectations really, because you get what you need. And I definitely needed whatever that was that came through tonight. It was very good. So with gratitude, I want to thank the guides and guardians of the vertical gateways tonight, the lower, middle, and upper worlds, as well as the guides and guardians of the north. Thanking you, releasing you, gratitude for your presence, for anchoring us in this now moment, for connecting us to each other, to the land, to the astral plane. Give thanks to the keepers of the Akashic records, to the guardians of the Hall of Records for allowing us passageway through tonight, for wisdom that came through. to the guides of the north for keeping us protected and safe and centered and grounded. We give thanks and release you with gratitude. To the guides and the guardians of the west, thank you for helping us feel tonight, to process our deep emotions, connecting to what is ancient within us, helping us to commit to a deeper level of our soul's intended path and purpose in this lifetime. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the south, thank you for your strength. Thank you for the courage it takes to do this work in a good way and to stay on this path despite fear, anxiety, helping us to shed old skin, to transform and become a brighter, clearer version of ourselves in every moment. We give thanks and release you with gratitude. And to the guides and guardians of the East, where we began, thank you for opening our minds tonight, our hearts, creating spaciousness in our consciousness, helping us to see what's ahead so that we can move with grace. We give thanks and release you with gratitude. And with that, our journey is complete. Rena said, I commit to continue to be open to receiving what I need to continue to put one foot in front of the other without knowing where the hell I'm going. And thank you, Sherry. She said, thank you everyone for a beautiful evening. She thanked me for my magic and space holding. Thank you, thank you. Aho, may we allow growth, courage, and may we take up space. Take up your damn space. I have often had this thought, and I'll leave you with it. Before my grandma died, the one was a minister, my mom's mom, she said to me, she was really wise. My grandma was very simple, but she was really smart. And before she died, she said, I don't regret the things I did. I regret the things I didn't do. And that has guided my steps. I hear you, Grandma. She was kind of a crow. There's the biggest crow sitting right there. Oh, I see you. I see you. It's looking right through the bushes at me. It's so cool. I've never seen a crow sitting right there before. Wow. That's the bigger concern, right? All those years from now, whenever that day comes, I don't want you to regret what you didn't do because you were afraid or you weren't sure or what if or I think it's better to regret what you did. I gave it a shot and I screwed up. I tried and that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, rather than I have no idea what would have happened if I'd given it a shot. So may you live in a way that allows you one day to say you only regret what you did, but you don't regret what you didn't do. And may you not regret anything, you know what I mean? May you have no regrets. I think that's one of the best wishes we can make for each other. Did they go off on you too, Teresa Jolly? Oh, Crow Medicine. Crow will look right flipping at you, man, and be like, All right, you guys, thank you for being there. Thank you, Alexis. If you're still there, I kept you kind of over, but I really appreciate you. And thank you for that, Casey. I really value all of you so much. No regrets, man. Get in there. This time is yours. And don't make excuses. Don't make virus excuses. Don't make excuses. This is your time. This is your life. It's time to go and take up your space. I'll see you soon. A lot of love, you guys. Thank you for charging the items too. I'm going to go put a picture of the giveaway.